Hello everybody, this is toysareruss, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at this guy here. This is of course Missing Link Cordon. So what we're going to do, we're going to compare him to Missing Link Sunstreaker, Original Sunstreaker, some other figures including other Missing Link, and indeed some other mainline figures as well. So as I start to move all of these out of the way, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, I'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. And also to thank Shozy again, because this is where I brought it from. There's a direct link in the description if you want one for yourself, and they got it to me quickly and safely. So I'm a bit late to the party with this. In all honesty, he's been sitting there in a box waiting for me to do this video. I'm just so falling in love with the Missing Link toy line. It is crazy, and it's mad, because obviously at the time we were making this video, we know we're getting an Nemesis Prime, we know we're going to get an Ultra Magnus. It just really seems that they've gone to town for adult collectors, which is great. Now, the funny thing is, as soon as you pick this up, the weight of this is insane, especially compared to newer figures. And that's because, of course, it is a lot of it made of metal and die cast. So the box is beautiful. If you've seen my Sunstreaker video, this is exactly the same as the Japanese boxes, same height, dimensions, everything, and pretty much exactly the same as how they packaged it. So it's beautiful looking. Again, complete homage to the Generation 1 figure. But of course, this guy didn't have a Generation 1 figure. He did have a Diaclone one, and that is correct. I do not own one, so unfortunately I cannot do a comparison with the original. I've got a red Sunstreaker though, and I've got the original, so fingers crossed that should be enough for you. I'm trying to open this very carefully, because with these particular boxes, I like to keep them as neat as I can, and I think that's mainly because if we look at it, let's be honest, you can't really flat pack it because of the polystyrene insert, which again is something that I do really like. Now I'm struggling trying to get this open without damaging it. There we go, that's how you do it. That's how I've lifted it over that side there. I love the fact they've done that. Again, for people who didn't collect Japanese G1, what they used to do, they used to put the robot points on the inner flaps, because it was a much better idea than of course cutting the boxes into pieces. The polystyrene, I'm pretty sure they'll have done what they did with Sunstreaker, the other one. Yep, so you've got your numbers on the side. That also meant that obviously that it would be corresponding with the correct figure. Now again, it is just a redeco of Sunstreaker, so I'm not going to spend too much time going through all the same things. So the pamphlets, everything inside will be the same, and I'm not going to sticker mine up. That's just the decision that I choose to make. Right, he's got the little Diaclone pilot as well, which looks good. There's no hole in the polystyrene. Normally there's a hole in the polystyrene where you can push the figure through, but there he is. And the first thing that you notice straight away, it sounds silly, is just how bright white these new figures are. As I say, it genuinely sort of upsets me when I stick what I think are my figures that are white next to it, and you can see that he's obviously got that yellow hue to him already. This guy looks incredible though. As I say, all of this is die cast at the front. We've got some plastic here, we've got chrome, which just makes figures, same as the rubber tires, same as the chrome inserts. This just feels cool to the touch. It doesn't need stickers, I don't think. I think it's more than enough. I think it just looks beautiful. So compared to Sunstreaker, this is the original one, by the way, and then this is a very battered, poor old Diaclone version of, I don't know, Cordon, wasn't it? Yeah, no, Spin Out, sorry, Spin Out would have been his name. There's obviously something missing there. In fact, that's the new name that they gave him. So you can see how they all look together. I do still strongly believe we'll get an update of him very soon, because of course, why would they not? It is, you know, they've got the mold, why wouldn't they? So I do envisage just getting one of them pretty soon. For those of you who don't collect these or have no idea how big G1 figures are, that is your Earthrise Optimus Prime. Let's go for a few other figures. That's your Netflix Bumblebee, which of course is the same as the classics. That is your Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. Then we've got, that's funny enough, Diaclone as well. That's your Powered Convoy cab, which is of course Optimus Prime. And then funnily enough, because he's here, that is your new generation's Ultra Magnus Age of the Primes. So hopefully that sort of gives you an idea of the size of the figure. There isn't much more to say about it apart from the fact that it is beautiful, and as I say, I've already pointed out the chrome, etc. Looks a little bit like the flux capacitor from Back to the Future, but it's obviously not. Uprub sign on the underside, just a great little touch to everything, to be honest. That's all I'm going to say about this particular mode. Let's come right back and have a look at him in his robot mode. So here he is, then in his robot mode, exactly how I'm going to be displaying him. Quick apologies for no transformation process on this video. That's because I've uploaded a missing link sunstreaker tutorial just to help you out. And again, it will keep the length of this video down. That's why it's not in. And also you just especially need to be aware of that part there. So take note on the video if you're struggling with the transformation process yourself. Right, let's discuss accessories. First and foremost, he has no hands out. The reason for that is you can see that I've left the fist in the box and indeed the missiles. Now, to be honest, the reason why I've left them in there is because they're pretty much defunct with this new figure. And what I mean by that is with the original one, you were able to have the giant fists and you could pretty much launch these. My springs are pretty much useless. They do click in, but they're not working. But the whole of this forearm mechanism was a launching spring loaded mechanism. Whereas with these, what they've very cleverly done is hidden the fists inside. Now you can put the large fists in there if you wanted to, and of course you can put the larger missile accessories in there if you wanted to, but because they don't really fire, I'm not going to put them in for that particular reason. I'm going to attach the shoulder panels though exactly the same as what you can see with Sunstreaker, so that's going to fit in. You could even, if you wanted to as well, with the original, and like you can see there, attach these via the hands. But again, just to reiterate, the reason why I'm not is because you can't really fire them, so I'm just going to put them on the shoulders, and that's why I'm not going to take the others off the sprue, because I'm never going to display it with them like that anyway. So what they did is they decided very cleverly, and it's quite funny the amount of comments that I got from the Sunstreaker video that people did not realise that the fists, I've got no nails left, were actually tucked away inside the forearms. That's another lovely little bonus that they've done with this. It's just again a brilliant way to improve what was already a classic figure, and I did have it confirmed as well, so thank you to the people who did confirm. I'm struggling with this, aren't I? The reason why they went with a Sunstreaker figure or a Sunstreaker mold is because that was the first Diaclone transforming car. So again, it's great that we got this, and I can't believe, as I've already said, that we haven't had a spin out yet either. Right, so there are the fists, which you can see. We can attach his gun into his hand, which is pretty much, in fact, yeah, it is. It's the same as Sunstreaker's. I can see that from here. Right, before I bring the others in, let me just show you the articulation on this guy. So he does have, you've got to sort of class them as butterfly joints, haven't you? Or shoulder swivels, whatever. Anyway, they'll go all the way around like so. They'll even lift up at the side there, which is crazy. Swivel at the shoulder, flex at the biceps, wrist will swivel around. You can even, if you wanted to, again, pop this off and attach other bits inside if you wanted to. Maybe you could attach, let's have a look. Could you attach the G1 stuff? Sort of. It wouldn't really balance. It wouldn't fit in 100%, I don't think, but it will fit in. It will fit in but not hold. That's what I was trying to say. You can also see on the hand you do have finger articulation, which is great. There is a, I don't know if that's, yeah, that is sort of an ab crunch, isn't it? Because it isn't used for the transformation at all. There isn't a waist swivel though. There's thigh swivels at the top. There's knee bends, there's ankle tilt, rock, heel maneuvering, etc. These are very, very posable. You've got these inner bits on the inside leg, which again looks great. If I'm being super brutally honest, he still looks sort of slightly out of proportion because it's an old figure, it's an old toy, and they've done an incredible job, excuse me, of updating him, but he is still slightly out of proportion. Right, let's bring in the others. I'll go with originals first then. So original Sunstreaker and original battered Diaclone spin out. Yeah, I don't even own his fists, but again, I picked him up by pure fluke in a collection, so he'll do. So there you can see how they look together. The big noticeable thing obviously is the legs and the fact that they're not held together like so. This is so loose, but they do look really, really good together. The homage is just fantastic, isn't it? That's how the originals all look together. What I'm going to do before I bring in the missing links is, because I'm still not showing you him, and I was going to call him a pilot, but I wouldn't call him a pilot. I'd call him obviously a driver. So if you've got the alternate mode, and if you bend his legs carefully, you can see you've got articulation at the legs and at the top of the shoulder. You could sit him in and he could drive around. And you can also still do the same in the robot mode, which is what I really like about this. And again, it brings, as soon as we get a missing link Ironhide and a missing link Ratchet, that's when it's going to bring home, you know, what these figures actually were before they were Transformers. The fact that these are as good as, you know, exosuits for these particular figures is exactly what they were. You know, we've got that terminology now. We've got the exosuit. You've got, I suppose, the loader from Aliens with Ripley, in which really brings it home as to what these figures were initially intended for. You know, they did have the drivers, they did have the pilots, etc., etc., and it's great that they've brought that in and you're able to do that. So needed to show that very quickly. Let's bring in Missing Link Sunstreaker. Let's bring in Missing Link Optimus, which I do have both versions of. I'm a sucker for collecting pretty much complete collections, which is no good because there's too much out there. And then I'll very quickly bring in Bumblebee as well. Cliff Jumper, I don't know where he is. I'll find him later on and do a collection video for you all to see. So that's how they're all lining up together. They do look incredible. They are so much fun, and as I've already said, I know that the price point is a sticking point for quite a lot of people, and I totally get it. But on this, you know, saying that, you get what you pay for, and I mean that 100%, because this is a new age figure. It's not as much as this, but it's not far off. And again, that's because of the engineering, that's because of the metal parts, and that's, I suppose, just the way that it is. That's just the way that we make figures today. So let's move him out of the way. Let's bring in some other primes to give people ideas of how big he is. So Commander, Earthrise Deluxe, Small Deluxe. I've got a few others where we are. There's a core class as well. So yeah, he's about a deluxe size if we're going on Optimus Primes from sort of present. To be honest, guys, there isn't really much more to say about him. I've still ended up talking about him much more than, not that I wanted to. As I say, I want to try and keep the videos as different as they are between them, even though they are both exactly the same. But it's beautiful. It's really nice to have him, as I say, because I don't have or own the original. And yeah, another great addition. So there you go. And I'm sure I'll be bringing him back out, as I've already said numerous times already, when we get the red one as well. In the meantime though, guys, that's all there is to say about Missing Link Cordon. Let me know what you think of in the comments. Thanks for watching. Take care.